Alrighty.
Good morning, live streaming world. Welcome to the first live stream of the SMB Acceleration Show.
Yeah, you're joining us just as we're about to go on air. Just got a few seconds to wait, and then we can get into today's news of the week. Should be fun. Feel free to write us messages. We'll try to answer them as we can during the show. And here we go.
Good morning, this is Kevin O'Brien and Wayne Middleton. It's Monday morning, so it must be time for the SMB Acceleration Show. Now, good morning, Philadelphia. This is Kevin O'Brien, Wayne Middleton with the SMB Acceleration Show on Monday morning. We're live on WWDB 860. And if you get caught up and you miss any of the show, you can catch it anywhere podcasts are found, or visit the website, smbAcceleration.com. Wayne, how's it going this morning?
It's going well. Another good journey in. Got a little unlucky on the Schuylkill as usual, but can't complain.
Excellent. Hey, that's a good way to start a Monday morning, especially for many of those who are probably suffering after the Eagles' loss.
Oh, yeah, being British, I don't follow that sort of football, but on a better note, England's soccer team won. Yay me, and for any other Brits out there. So I apologise to all Eagles fans. I know how precious that team is to you all, and hopefully it can only get better.
Absolutely. Oh, nothing like starting off on a little football of all sorts, huh?
Exactly. So this week's show is going to be quite busy. We've got a lot of content to go over, a lot of things to talk about, and I think the best way to start off is really news of the week, right?
No, absolutely. I mean, I guess, one of the most interesting things that I kind of came across last week, which I didn't know, was National Entrepreneur Day.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, I mean, I've heard of National Small Business, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's actually tomorrow, so any of the entrepreneurs out there, celebrate your day. If you're a business, probably a great idea to kind of newsjack, as they say, right, and jump on the news of the day, put some kind of offer out there on your Google Business or Twitter. Or
Feel social. Get on social and fill it up.
Absolutely.
Take advantage of this. No, that's really interesting, National Entrepreneurs Day. So.
I mean, it does seem like there's a day for everything, though, right?
Yeah.
Just about now.
Well, at least we know that's not a Hallmark one.
That's true. It do makes you wonder who did come up with it. You're right.
Exactly, like who came up with that idea. So the other interesting bit was around content marketing metrics. And it focused really on what your small business measures matters. So, talking about what analytics you're looking at, what results you're getting. If lead generation is your thing and you're trying to get people in through your web forms and things like that, or landing pages, and the revenue numbers are not what you anticipate, how can you improve? This is a great article by HaroldPalladium.com.
It's funny, right? I kind of just came across it. I was interested to see what they were going to recommend as marketing metrics, because we always talk about, so many of them are vanity metrics, and really, I think as you said in the first show, even growing a Twitter following can be great, but if you can't convert it, then what value has it brought to you?
Yeah, if you got like 2,500 followers or 10,000 followers or 1 million followers and none of them are engaging, not really a metric I'm going to be too proud of. I'd rather have half that are fully engaged with me and comment on my things, or retweet and share the post I have, because I think that's where the value is for their
No,
thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then you've got the age-old, hey, I can get you 10 million impressions. Great.
But what does that really do for you? Was it over the summer, there was that story of the Instagram influencer who she couldn't sell even 24 T-shirts to 1 million followers?
That's right, yeah.
Right?
It just goes to show, right? Like, just because you've got the followers, if they're not engaged and not consuming your content or reading what you're putting out there, you're not going to sell T-shirts.
No, and that's something, right, you would think is a pretty simple direct-to-consumer sale.
Yeah, pretty basic e-commerce kind of idea, and even there it can be difficult. We've talked a little bit, and I know we're going to do a dedicated show to it, but if you're online these days, everywhere you look, there's so-called experts that have earned hundreds of millions of dollars being able to sell through Shopify, or buying online businesses and how to do it. And look, folks, there's no shortcuts to being successful. There's things you have to do. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication, but that's why we created this show. That's why we created SMB Acceleration, is to give you some really good free advice.
No, absolutely.
On how to improve your business and maximize your return on investment in anything you do through marketing, whether that's social, paid ads, whatever.
No, I think that's a great thing. I think a lot of times, right, the e-commerce, the explosion of Amazon and e-commerce throughout the world really has made people, especially these experts, sell this great idea that, hey, just get a Shopify store, get a few designs, and you're on your way to not having to work, and you can live on this passive income, which really isn't very true.
No, it takes a lot of work. It's hard to get over that hump of that initial sale, and I think it's Wall Street. If you follow Wall Street and you look at the business news, you can see that even in Wall Street, they're taking a very hard look at Shopify and saying, hey, there's so much business coming through there. Is it real? Is it actually making money? Is it not? So they're very skeptical about the whole business platform.
Oh, I did see something interesting on that. Is it the percentage of stores, right, that actually make money is
very small.
Tiny, right?
Yeah, it's like, again, don't quote me, but probably 2-3% of all stores that are run through Shopify.
Wow.
Something around that.
Okay, I thought I had saw
extremely low.
And so that shows you, for every 100 people, right?
Yeah.
97 of us are actually not going to make money.
Exactly. And we all get in this to earn a little extra money on the side. And, you're probably better off taking surveys and getting paid for those.
Yeah. No.
Honestly, you've got more chance, right?
Really, when you stop and think about it, right? It is kind of crazy, right? It's such a hard niche to break into, even with a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. It's too crowded. There's people that have been doing e-commerce since it came, and you're up against some. Even in the smallest sort of store, you're up against some pretty major competition with Amazon and people like that. So, be wise, be smart. I'm not saying don't do it, but at the same time, don't think it's going to solve all your problems. It just isn't.
Yeah, no, I know for a fact I haven't done it myself, thinking, how hard could it be? This should be an easy $1,000 a month revenue stream. Never seemed to materialize into that for sure.
Yeah, so just looking back at some of my notes here, and it's talking about Score. So do you know anything about Score in terms of content marketing and measuring your data properly?
No, I didn't even realize until reading that article how many offerings, the Score Society had for business owners.
Okay.
I'm familiar with their websites and familiar with their mentorship program, but I didn't realize how many webinars or local classes. If you're a local business owner, it's probably definitely something really worthwhile checking out.
Yeah, if nothing else, those events are geared at people like you. You can probably bounce ideas off of each other, and who knows, you may even get some customers out of it, especially depending on what your services are. They oftentimes you'll find that they overlap and you can help each other. So it's worth getting involved in any of those kind of organizations, the SMBA, Small Business Association. That's really worth getting involved in too.
No, absolutely. It's a great thing. And it's outstanding how many offerings they really have, from, improve your website, on things on content marketing, lead generation. And I think that article pointed out a great thing, that really at the end of the day, it's either about the phone ringing or contact forms to your website with intent to make a purchase.
Yeah. That's the other thing, is that I talk about vanity metrics. Again, when someone fills in your form, in theory, not in theory, in practice, it definitely shows an intent to buy. But don't think just because they fill in your form, they're going to buy.
Absolutely.
You still have to do the hard work. You still have to email them frequently, get them on the phone, because we're all people. We like that human interaction, and nothing closes a deal better than the salesperson.
Absolutely.
I've yet to see anything that works beyond that. So, as well as that, honestly.
Especially you see all the chatter around chatbots on Facebook and how you could just automate your business. And I've never seen success come strictly through chatbots without that human interaction.
Without some form of human on the end of it, yeah, I agree. I think chatbots are great. They have their place. They're definitely helpful. If you're not a 24/7 business, it helps you be a 24/7 business. But again, It's all about getting on the phone and actually talking to your potential customers and then helping close that deal. So, us being marketers, I would say we don't promise you're going to close deals. What we promise is we will get you the calls, we will get you the form fills, that intent to buy, and we'll certainly grow and build your brand state in terms of digital platforms.
Mm-hmm.
But you're the person ultimately who knows your business best, who knows what your customers need, and are easily the most qualified to close that deal.
Absolutely.
So again, if your marketing agency starts to talk differently, and if you're working with someone, a freelancer or otherwise, and they're promising you, hey, I can drive you X amount of leads and you'll get this many customers out of it, kind of call foul on that and just say, okay, well, you can get me the appointments, but I'm going to be closing those deals, unless they're running the sales for you. In which case, then that's a great ROI metric, and you can hold them very firmly to that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But again, be mindful, ask those questions.
Yeah, no, as you said, nobody knows your business, as well as you do.
Yeah. You also happen to highlight a article about future core ranking updates.
Oh yeah, it's a big chatter in the SEO world is that Google kind of rolled out a big core update. There has been some volatility on sites. Some they said have fallen as much as 30%. Some people have improved as much as 30%. Absolutely, especially if you're a site that relies on inbound or content marketing.
That's huge.
You could be you're either booming or you're kind of in that bust phase of, wait a minute, what do we need to do differently?
So here's what again, just thinking about from that
Mm-hmm.
point of view. When these updates roll out, it's a big core update. It doesn't happen as frequently as what you think, but every update that Google does, the small ones, the large ones, the overall core ones, they do have an impact on your website performance and metrics. So if you see a dip in your SEO, the first thing to do is not necessarily go, okay, well, we're doing it all wrong. It's just take a step back, try to find out what people updated and adjust your website accordingly. Because 9 times out of 10, it may just be a code structural change. It
Mm-hmm.
could just be, they're looking at your content slightly differently. So you need to think about how your information is set up on your website. And we've got a great article on the blog about information architecture. I would check that out, smb.com, smbAcceleration.com. So again, with this big one rolling out, now's the time to start thinking about, okay, let's find out as much as I can, let's understand what's happening, and start to consider, do I need to make some changes? And again, if you're a small business owner, you probably don't really want to do this, so that's where you start to consider, well, is there people out there that can help me, especially with the technical aspects of things.
Absolutely, and I mean, from what it sounds like, the biggest thing again is Google putting more emphasis on having good original information, strong content, not having misleading page titles, and kind of good website structure overall.
Yeah, and again, Google are trying to make it easier for everyone to consume content and ultimately get results that they're actually intending to look for. So the more relevant your content, the more original it is, the things that make you stand out from others, the more people are going to come to your site. So again, look at it. Is your headline misleading in any way? Have you got the right kind of richness of keywords in your content, and are you thinking about this the right way? That's a good piece.
Yeah, and I think as much as it kind of goes along with if you've been using SEO and content marketing over the last 5-10 years, it might be time to revisit older blogs, combine some, because a lot of the SEO tactics that were performed 5-6 years ago really aren't as relevant anymore. And that process of create a blog every day and just put something out there, even if it's 200 words, 7 days a week, that really almost penalizes you now.
It does, yeah. And again, that's a complete mind shift from where it was 6, 7, 8 months ago.
No, absolutely. And having talked to business owners, it's often the ones that have some understanding of the benefits of SEO, or may have learned about it in that 5, 6, 10 years ago period, where they see it as, well, these tactics work. Mm-hmm. They got me here. why am I not seeing results, or what am I doing wrong? But no, a lot of it is Google has just caught up to, which were basically a lot of times tactics, and they weren't about creating that super high quality, very valuable content.
Yeah.
And now, you're seeing, so now you're seeing, kind of Google's pushback to your site.
Exactly. And I think there was another little note, and again, we keep notes all the way through the show because otherwise we go off in tangents, especially me. As I was looking at this, it just it struck home because when I originally started out my career, I worked in magazines. And so the last comment on the end here was things to consider about your content. Like, would you expect to see this content in or referenced by a printed magazine, encyclopedia, or book? In this world of digital, we still like the printed word. And I'm a big believer in reading from a book or from a magazine, not necessarily from a computer. So I find it more straining on the eye. So it's kind of interesting. When you're writing it, has it got a good narrative? Does it have a beginning, middle, and end? Basic story structure is the way to go, And is it a topic that is going to be mainstream enough for people actually want to read it?
No, it's really true. It's funny. We had a conversation back and forth with a gentleman who is in the branding industry. Actually came out of working for David Ogilvy in New York in the kind of Mad Men era, and had something that he always harped on, even with blog posts, was blog posts really need to have a beginning, middle, end. They need to be well structured. They need to be editorial quality.
Yeah.
And I was kind of at the time always pushing back. Well, we can turn out more if we did it to this level. And he was like, no, at the end of the day, it all has to be editorial. And he always stood by, his belief that even though it's a blog, or even if it's something simple like a news update, it should be in that editorial standard.
Which is really interesting because, devil's advocate, when you're having done user testing and user analysis of websites and understanding how people use websites, the one thing I constantly say, and I still think this is true, because we have to think about blogs differently, people don't want to read. Well, let's be honest with what that actually means. They probably don't want to read your core pages. They're looking for something very specific, like how much, what do you do, what's in it for me, and then ultimately a way to contact you. If someone's engaging with your blog, it is that editorial kind of experience where they're actually going to take the time, if it's compelling enough, to read it. Your core pages, anything from your homepage all the way through to the contact us page, they're kind of expected pages. They're not meant to be narratives. They should have a good flow to them, but they're not ultimately trying to tell a full story. They're trying to give you bits of a story.
Absolutely.
So I think you've got to, again, now that I'm thinking about the amount of times I said to clients that, hey, people are not reading as a sweeping statement. The reality is I don't take into that statement the idea of a blog and what the function of that is. So again, it's interesting.
It's interesting because it is a much different expected user experience on your about page or location page than a blog.
Yeah, because again, I'm not going to read through a narrative if all I really want to do is find out what hours you're open, or can I, where's your address, or can I get directions? You're there for a very specific function.
Absolutely.
That blog content is crucial from the company's point of view of bringing people to your site. It's almost like that backdoor entryway into your site. But, they're definitely not going to read through tons and tons of content to get there. So it's almost think of them as two separate sites in that respect.
Absolutely. So you're saying you see the value in having a well-structured website architecture and, the ease of gathering information. And then blogs are almost that separate entity. It's almost a book in and of itself, each one.
Yeah. I mean, it's valuable content to someone because it's something that talks about your ideals, your experience, your expertise, your leadership in your chosen or specific space.
Absolutely.
So we're actually coming up to our first break in the show. After this quick interlude, we will be talking about small businesses and CRMs. So with that, we're going to cut to some music, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Perfect pacing, time to there.
Nice. Yes.
So we got one.
I threw an extra 30 seconds on that. If you face them.
Yep.
So I want to get these so you can see and also hear each other.
Yeah, I was having trouble
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you were coming in a little low, so what I'm thinking is this. You can kind of speak directly here. This will help you.
Okay.
And let's do the same thing. Plus, I heard you hacking away. That's why I said let's take a break so you can take a few seconds.
Thank you, sir.
And then...
Right there?
Yes, this way it's not blocking
Okay.
the view of your camera. You're good to go. You're talking into it. He's talking into it. I can get you more a little bit better.
Perfect.
Excellent. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Turn off my personal. It's probably nobody in this life we've seen it up.
Yeah, no one on. So,
No. I'm not that surprised though.
30 days. So the intro back in, just mention again who you are, where you appear, and then you're into the CRM.
Good morning, live streaming SMB accelerators. Well, we're back with the SMB Acceleration Show. We just got done talking about the news. We're about to go into small business CRMs. If you've missed any of the show or want to catch it via podcast, you can catch it anywhere podcasts are found, or visit our website, smbacceleration.com.
Yeah, and I think it'd be worth pointing out we are streaming live. So if you've got some questions for us about any of the news or upcoming CRM conversation, let us, feel free to jump on YouTube and ping us and we'll try to answer it live.
Oh, absolutely. Good point, Wayne.
All right, so small business CRM. I've seen everything from an Excel spreadsheet with people's contact details in to, a Rolodex, honestly.
Oh, absolutely.
And there are so much more sophisticated, smarter ways of doing it. And I think it was a really timely piece of content to bring up and talk about because it's a bit of a black hole, I would say, because you can go very quickly down a very expensive road or you can go down the wrong road and choose the wrong path entirely. So let's get into it.
No, it is. There's actually, it's a great point on that, is that, having a CRM is invaluable, but it can also lead to a tremendous waste of time and money.
It can.
And it's funny, I was thinking about this topic driving over here this morning, and it's just stuck with me, the number of different ways business owners use Excel primarily or Excel plus Outlook to act as a CRM.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working with an insurance broker, local insurance agency. They're an independent. That they kind of run your quote against their 25 carrier kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they've always done the same thing with their marketing. Every month they established the budget, month one they opened, stuck with it. Now, 5 years in. So for 60 months I've done the exact same thing. They use a third-party company that sends out, mass mailers every month based on their algorithmic expectation of when people's renewals are. So, but the amazing thing is they've done it consistently. So it actually has worked. They've built a business year over year at a nice steady rate. The thought that I had when I went in and was consulting with them that just blew me away is I said, well, it's got to be leading to some business. Every month you're getting X amount of calls. What happens? And they said, look, we have one spreadsheet. And they actually had, because it was on Google or Excel and not Google Sheets, it wasn't a shared spreadsheet.
It's localized.
Yeah. So they had one spreadsheet on one person's computer, and each new person got added to it up to the next line.
Okay, yeah.
So if you had a great month, say you got 30 calls, and you didn't get a hold of person one, they're now 30 rows down by the end of the month. And, they had done this for 5 years. There's hundreds, thousands of people that contacted them that didn't convert in the business because, you're only going to convert a percentage.
Yeah.
And my first thought was, wow, if we could just change the conversion rate of people that you're already bringing in, it would be a monumental change to your business.
Yeah. And that's actually where a good CRM, not even a complex one, to be honest, would help that company significantly.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you can, and actually prove the value of doing it. Because at the moment, they don't really understand what they're missing out on, I think, by what you're saying. So that's very interesting.
Oh, it was mind-blowing that, they had proven one of the most important points, I think, in marketing, which is consistency trumps like being viral.
Yeah.
If you do the same thing month in, if you establish, right tomorrow, say for December, I'm going to establish $100 AdWords budget. I'm going to spend it every month. I'm going to find even what works if it leads to 8 new calls. And then, over time, I'm going to increase to that budget. And you do that consistently, over time, you're going to grow a business.
Yeah, it's true. And, for some, that growth is probably about ideal. Maybe that's what they can handle in terms of
absolutely
business coming in. Again, just if you was to automate some of that process, you're not going to lose anything. But can you make it more efficient? Could you actually convert more people? Could you grow and expand your business? If you have the means to do it.
Absolutely.
The means to support it. Because the one thing you don't want to do is let down your customers and then start creating bad customer experience because you can't handle the amount of flow coming into your business.
No, that's so true. And I think, as you pointed out, the CRM doesn't have to be super involved and complicated and have all these routes and go, if they do this, it does this. No, I mean, you can make it as simple as stop the campaign once I get a response, but make it take a couple hours to set up a 3 email sequence or 3 text messages or, 3 automated phone calls or, set yourself a task to make those 3 phone calls. But, even just that touching that person 3 times and reaching out that 3 times, probably double your conversion rate. And then all of a sudden, the ROI on your monthly marketing budget is really all of a sudden become, a whole different, absolutely.
Very different, much more positive, So a question for you is in that case, I could see how a CRM would benefit that company. So let's talk about what options they would have. Let's use them as a live case. Okay, so this is how I do business today. I want to grow 20% each year. How would you, as their former consultant, what platform would you choose, and how would you choose to, for want of a better word, sell that into them?
No, absolutely. It's a great point. I mean, I think you have a number of good options as far as not entry level, but not super expensive options for beginning marketing automation CRM platforms. HubSpot is a great one, and I think over time it's just become better and better at really filling that small business. They continue to get that you can set it up for free.
Yeah, that right there's the crux of it. Right, you've got a very powerful tool that costs you nothing to get started. When you want to start and it grows with you as a platform, you want to start to do more sophisticated lead nurture programs or whatever, bringing your sales organization into the platform so you can understand at what stage of the deal you're at. Yeah, HubSpot are going to charge you for the more bells and whistles, but as a base, I think it handles 4,000 contacts as a base, which from...
I think it's 1 million.
Is it 1 million as a base? Wow.
Before you add the marketing to the next level, I think it's 1 million. I feel like I read it somewhere not too long ago that they've upped it. Wow. And I mean, they give you, as long as you install the HubSpot tracking code, all of a sudden, the data they can pull, and you can start seeing, wait, this company just visited my website, or wait, this company visited my website. These are people I'm actively targeting. How do I,
How do I get them to convert?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that, again, I'm a big fan of HubSpot. I use it myself, and I know you do. HubSpot for me is it's very, very simple and easy to use and set up. You don't need a degree in development to be able to do it. It's fairly simple.
It's absolutely seems extremely plug and play.
Yeah. So again, HubSpot's a great platform. MailChimp, and I want to talk about this a bit. MailChimp is one of those platforms that started off as an email platform, and it's been successful, and a lot of people are on it. And again, it had that same idea to do it free, and then have various levels of pay. Well, over the course of its existence now, it started to build in more and more of that functionality that marketers are starting to expect. That CRM based, being able to do mass emails, setting up lead nurture programs, and really understanding what content moves the trigger on these potential customers coming in. And so MailChimp is another very simple, easy to use platform for CRM purposes, which historically has only ever been email. but now you've got your email. It makes sense as a progression. So again, MailChimp is definitely one that I would consider using.
Absolutely, especially, if you're the business owner that is going to send more newsletters.
Yeah.
MailChimp has, not that HubSpot doesn't have lots of templates. MailChimp is just very simple to just almost push a couple buttons and get some emails out. But now the fact that they've added marketing automation, the integration with ad platforms, I mean, they both have, but it really more and more is becoming a hub for your small business marketing.
Yeah, and I know you've got a couple of others down there. I'm just going to quickly touch on one other. Salesforce, huge CRM, very expensive, fantastic for that mid to large, and the larger, smaller companies. In terms of the automation, they brought out Parvo, which has some interesting features and functionality. Again, it's comparable in some way to HubSpot, but certainly not as powerful, I think. And then we're on to ActiveCampaign. Now, I don't know too much about ActiveCampaign, so I'm going to lean on you.
No, absolutely. It's a HubSpot competitor. It's kind of in that same low cost to start. It doesn't have nearly the amount of freebies HubSpot has. It might be a little cheaper on the initial ramp up, but actually there's a few companies in the insurance space that use ActiveCampaign. There's a website provider that he's used it a lot. It kind of reminds you of a little bit of Infusionsoft type, of setting up those drag and drop workflows. And
they're very long kind of mapped.
You can do that. So it has a lot of good integrations. It was one of the ones I found that originally had good you could push all your email addresses into custom audiences, which was always,
it's always a good thing to have.
Yeah, especially if you're, like the insurance company I mentioned, insurance broker, where you have all these email addresses that you've gathered over 5 years, It's not a bit. Yeah, it's a lot of email, and it's a great custom audience. All the people who have engaged with you, you're going to get a low cost. You can run a pretty simple ad and probably turn a couple percent, back into contacts again.
Yeah, you can even leverage those platforms to get your customer base, your happy customers, to give you good reviews. You can send out, hey, if you write a review, we'll give you a $10 Starbucks card or whatever it is. All of that can help, again, exponentially grow your business, and you can set that up so it automatically does it once they've renewed. It's like you could almost set it like give it a week from renewal date and then send out this incentive to write a good review for us and why they chose us, and attach a Starbucks coupon to it. So there's so many different ways of leveraging a CRM platform, stroke marketing automation platform, that are definitely worth considering from a small business point of view. It just makes, again, it's all about making business easier. And I think those platforms, the ActiveCampaign sounds interesting. MailChimp has an option. HubSpot's got a good option. I mean, you can even use Google Drive and Forms.
Basically. Yeah, absolutely. It's probably the I wouldn't say simplest way, depending on what you're using. I think Squarespace or Wix or one of them have some form of tie into Google Drive where they'll go right into a spreadsheet. But, I guess that, again, the problem with that tends to be as people just get added to the bottom, you're not really setting them into audiences or groups to mail to. And, you're really, though it seems scary, it seems, I think, oftentimes a bigger undertaking than it may actually be, especially on getting a simple CRM set up that, business owners kind of pass on it when they really shouldn't. It really is, can make a significant difference to your business. And you probably have to use it smart when you start, have one user on there and keep your costs down. But, the flip side, depending on what you sell, I mean, home insurance, even if you're a landscaper, or a dentist or anybody with that local service area, most likely what you're selling, that one increased customer a month is more than paying for your CRM.
Yeah, you think about that from and again, we'll make up some fictional numbers, but if I'm let's say I'm a painter and decorator, so every customer roughly spends, last one I had was about $1,300. So your average customer is spending about $1,000 every time they use you. Okay, getting one of those every month is good. It's income, but it's not enough income. By nurturing them correctly, by saying, hey, we painted your hall, it's time to refresh your dining room. Or, hey, have you thought about getting new kitchens installed? We can help with that. All of a sudden, your services expand, your customers' awareness of it, and overall their happiness with your services and products all exponentially grow and become more positive. So I can see nothing but good things for small businesses if they use it right and they're smart about how they do it. And I think this is worth pointing out. A lot of these platforms, I'm not going to name them all, but they all have very good knowledge centers and tips and advice on how to do things, how to get people to convert quicker, how to do this. There are consultants like Kevin and I who help try to set companies up with this and manage it to a certain degree. So yeah, it's definitely worth looking at and considering for your business. And if you want any tips and advice, feel free to jump on our website, ping us an email, and we'll work out something with you, or give us a call anytime.
Absolutely. No, it is a great point. And I mean, it's really something you shouldn't be afraid of as a small business owner. It's probably almost one of the steps needed to be able to scale growth. Is to have a CRM or have some form, or otherwise you're limited to, running call ads just on Google, or, something that almost taking your website out of it. But if you're going to drive people to a website,
make the website work for you.
Absolutely. Make it pay for itself. Absolutely.
All right, so we're actually ready to have another break at this point. Hope you enjoyed that section on small business CRM. When we come back, we're going to be talking about how to market your business on a budget. Probably something we're all familiar with and a challenge we all face. If you'd like to find out more great tips for marketing your small business, check out our website, smbAcceleration.com, where we have a listener special available, and we'll give you more details at the end of the show about what that is. What was that?
The $99.
Oh, there you go. I was like, is that the website? Is that this? Is that
it would be anything, but that would probably be $99.
Yeah. Right, this is a big amount of stuff to get through, so we'll just I think we've got time.
We can just do that, and then we'll do video next week.
Yeah. I think
maybe I'll see if that guy can come in the studio.
Yeah, because then we can have a talk. Probably says that. Yeah, that'd be good. Be interesting to see if we can set up some people to call in for especially like video content. I can do to Ghost and see if we can.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. Before the break, we was talking about CRM platforms and how they can benefit small businesses, but not to get caught up in the trap of getting over complex with what you're trying to do. Moving on, this is a topic close to my heart. How do you market your business on a budget? And I think this is a really important topic because, let's face it, we all have our limitations, and there's only so much expendable cash we're willing to put into a marketing effort. So I think this is a great topic for us to talk about.
No, absolutely. And I think, especially as we even alluded to earlier, that people that may have a hobby or a skill or something they're looking to turn into their own business and they're looking to get started, they have no, low dispendable, extra income. So they're like, what can I do? I want to move the needle on this side business or, turn this side business into my full-time business.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for me, that was kind of the way I started was, working on a business on the nights and weekends around, working at a job, and then you don't want to spend all your money, right?
Exactly. Because you've got other commitments. You've got family, you've got mortgage to pay, you've got car payments, and all that jazz gets in the way, and that doesn't change for anyone starting their own business. These are all expenses. Then you've got your business expenses on top, and there are definitely ways to do that more effectively and cheaply. But yeah, I mean, you've got to be smart about what you're using and understand, and I would even say this, set a budget.
Absolutely.
And stick to it religiously.
No, absolutely.
It's so easy and so dangerous in today's world to overextend your budget way too much. And so, be mindful, be careful. So let's get into some of these interesting topics. So, you've probably, anyone who's listened to the last couple of shows have heard us talk about Google and Facebook ads and being able to promote your business through those paid efforts as well as trying to grow your organic efforts. So let's give us a couple of ideas and tips around setting up Google so that you can manage your budget more effectively. Because that, to me, is one of the biggest channels where you can blow through budgets so good.
No, absolutely. It really is. And, that is probably one of the areas, once you get beyond a certain level, where you run into needing somebody who's an expert in AdWords. But if you're, looking to get set up, AdWords Express, the, Google kind of quick setup version is a great way to start.
Yeah.
And, as you and I will kind of always harp on, start up with just calls. And run those calls, just during your business hours when you know someone's going to be answering the phone.
Yeah.
And, they're going to be expensive. There's a lot of people oftentimes competing for them. Make sure depending on what you offer, your radius is legitimate. If you're a orthodontist, a dentist, podiatrist, you don't want to be setting it 25 miles might be a bit much to expect people to drive to your office. 5 might be too small, depending on where are you, rural or urban, or where does your customer mix currently come from?
Yeah, and you'll be able to find that out real quick from putting an ad out there. And again, this is why it becomes more important to potentially work with a partner, especially in Google AdWords. To do it effectively, honestly, like getting set up and using the quick start is a great method to get started, and it'll keep you going for probably about a year, I would say. But when you start you'll start to realize that, hey, this is a highly competitive area, and what I'm doing is highly competitive. So how do I differentiate myself? Well, you have to be in there almost every day.
Absolutely.
In my experience of working within AdWords, if you're not in it every day and you're not adjusting your budgets and adjusting your keywords and adjusting your ads, you're not maximizing the amount of customers you can pull in, and you're not really differentiating yourself. So, get started with Google as the base setup and keep it going that way. But eventually, a year and a half, 2 years, whatever that is, you're going to need help. And even then, you want to be smart with who you work with. Is that person going to be able to give you more than just AdWords support? Can they also be a technical support person? So it's interesting to do it. The other thing, with Facebook, before they decided to change everything, you used to be able to just post and draw people in, make it public facing. You'll get a lot more people, but they've since restricted the amount of reach you actually really get. So, doing the organic posting was good and should be continued. Don't expect to get too many new customers from it.
No, you're really not. I mean, I was fortunate when I started my first real estate business. Was in the very early Facebook days when they had just switched from requiring a .edu email and opened it up to the public.
Yeah.
And, you were able to do a lot of things. It was kind of like early SEO days. You could, I went about and created a Facebook page for each town.
Yeah.
And so, people would not friend the Facebook page because all of a sudden, they thought it was town related. And, I did one around the Outer Banks as a whole and around vacationing. But I used to be able to put up a link and the page would say 30,000 people. You'd reach 18, 20, 25,000 on an organic reach, And all of a sudden that would translate into, 60 new registrants on the website. Once a month get a couple of people that were really serious, and it was actually a legitimate way to grow a business.
Yeah.
But, since the last 5-7 years, as organic reach has probably gone down to maybe 2%, 5%, it could really good.
5 would be considered outstanding.
Exactly. So, if you have 1,000 people, you're maybe looking at 25 or 30.
Yeah.
I'm going to see it.
Yeah, and again, don't get us wrong, 25, 30 could be a big difference maker for you. But using their Facebook ads, which are expensive, and can become very expensive if you don't do it right, you're going to you're back to those glory days of 25, 30,000 people virtually coming to your page. The hardest part is getting them to like it at that point. But, again, don't stop doing your organic activities, but look at kind of the paid options, because if you, again, similar to what you're doing in Google, if you think about your catchment area, if you really are thinking about 5-10 mile radius around your business, and that's your sweet spot, then put some ads up in that area and draw it down to that level. Really be smart about your audience demographics. What are they interested in? Build your audience. Don't always rely on what Facebook tell you is the right audience.
Absolutely. And I mean, that really is, we spoke about in previous episodes, is where I see having something like Tag Manager installed, because you can, once you have Google Tag Manager, you can make sure you have the Facebook pixel working. And
yep.
I mean, if you're running Facebook ads without having the pixel set up, you're really just kind of throwing money into the dark. You can't retarget people, especially, like as you said, if you're that local business, you want to probably run a retargeting ad, or, at least run an ad to let people know you're there.
Yeah.
Outside of driving around. I have a personal pet peeve with these 2 restaurants right down the street from my house for that.
Yeah, I know. I can think of a few as well.
And I'm like, why? I moved in, from another area. Granted, I've seen it, but you never entice me to come down the street. It's 500 feet from my house.
Yeah.
I could walk to both of these places. I probably visited a tenth as much as I would if they advertised it all. Tell me, you're kid friendly, or tell me it's not kid friendly. Tell me, something about the place. Yeah, exactly.
Give me something to work with, folks, and I will come and spend money.
Exactly. Oh, I think every time I'm in there and there's no one in there, or like there's not that many people at dinner time, I'm like, what? Well, you could run a $5 a day ad and probably.
So you're going to forgive me here, folks, for everyone online. You're a businessman, dude. Go and tell them what they need to spend, and go and get that money coming into you. It would make sense. I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
If you're a business and you're out there and no one can find you, then it's not worth being around. Honestly, it brings back the analogy whenever I'm asked by clients, like, or trying to explain clients about the strategy, web strategy, and digital marketing strategy. So here's an interesting thing, and it can be applied to what you were talking about too. Your website is an island. It's a beautiful place. Has great beaches. Has the best hotels, best restaurants, best bars. Has some of the hottest new DJs on it. Great. Does it have an airport? Does anyone know where it is? Can I actually get to your island? Well, that's what your digital marketing is. That's what any marketing is. It's advertisements. It's drawing people to that destination, because without it, you can have all the best things in the world. If no one can find you, and you're not making it easy for them, you'll be out of business very, very fast. So
that's a great way to look at it.
It is. And you think about your holidays, there's a reason people promote and push. So
that's great. You know what? That's really funny about that is that it makes me think of the Soggy Dollar Bar in the Virgin Islands. Like, how do places like that well, one, there's nothing else there. So, but if you're in a business that happens to be in Bryn Mawr, in the Garrett Hill area, and you own those 2 restaurants, run me some ads. Yeah. Please. I'm looking to come in more.
He wants to spend money, folks. Trust me, this guy doesn't spend money easy either.
Yeah.
Which also brings us to retargeting. Like, we're talking about Google ads, we're talking about Facebook ads, but I have seen for a lot of customers that I work with, the retargeting ads really do work.
Absolutely.
And I think, it's they're a little bit more expensive, but if you're going to not spend as much on the other platforms, one area you really want to focus on is your retargeting. Because, that website visit, we know it's going to take 3 or 4 times over the head before they're going to give you and find you or talk to you. So, constant reminders, keeping you top of mind amongst your potential customers is the way forward. So retargeting is a worthwhile investment, I think, as a small business.
No, I absolutely agree. I think, that would probably be the second step I would always make in, running ads for the business would be, first, let me get some actual lead generation. Let me find an ROI positive ad campaign.
Yeah.
So at least I know that I'm spending 150 and I'm making 200. At least I'm plus 50
And I'm
every
getting
month.
clicks, exactly.
Yeah, you know, and this is so it is. I can turn that into business. Yes, that next layer I'd definitely layer in would be, you know, retargeting and put that little bit of money and go, well, all right, we're getting 100 clicks a month and 10 phone calls. You know, if I can convert from 10% to 20, you know, all of a sudden
it's starting to look really positive.
Yeah,
and your business is growing at a rate that is sustainable.
Absolutely, and I think that is such an important part. Is how do you get it sustainable? Because so often people try Google Ads for 30 days and then they're, you know, don't see or don't have a way to tie it all together, and all of a sudden it's, well, it doesn't work for me, or it doesn't work for my business.
And 9 times out of 10, if not 10 out of 10, I feel confident saying 10 out of 10, it's because one of the cogs in the wheel is broken. So think about my island analogy, think about Google Ads and all the other activities you do. They're all cogs, all parts of the wheel, they're spokes of the wheel. If one of them is broken, it doesn't mean that you stop doing it. It just means you have to figure out why it's broken and then figure out how to make it work again. And that's when you might need some expertise help.
Absolutely.
Experts help. You know, we do, again, we said it last week, at the end of last week's show, we sounded like a walking ad for Google. And it's hard not to be. They're one of the biggest providers of search engine results in the world. In fact, they are the biggest. And the second one is YouTube, which, guess what, folks, is Google.
Yeah. And I mean, if you even really get into it, Waze would be a great, you know, advertising platform. It was also owned by
Google.
Yeah. But I think that leads us to kind of, there are a lot of options if you have that, you know, ROI positive campaigns already running. You're like, I want to do, what can I do? You know, what else is out there? There's, you can always run on Pinterest or, you know, something like that. If you're not e-commerce, you know, I mean, Pinterest is a growing platform.
Yeah, you've got your Instagrams, you can run ads through that, which will end up in Facebook as well if you do it right. Waze offers some advertising for as little as $2 a day, which is really good.
Wow, I didn't realize you could get that low into it. Okay.
They have a couple of different types of ad units that I think are really important. I use Waze a lot, honestly. You've got branded pins, which basically is like a big beacon for your business. You know, when someone's looking on the map and you're driving along, and all of a sudden you see McDonald's or Joe's Pizza or whatever, those are actually purchase pins. So you can leverage that ad unit for people traveling through or traveling to.
Interesting. Okay.
They also offer the promoted search, which is, you know, that allows your location to be promoted at the top of the search results. So similar to how Google works, it's the same algorithm, same search function. If you pay for it, you're going to come top of that list. Right? This means there's going to be other competitors in there, but being first is everything. And so, you know, again, that's a great way to do it. The difference is they actually include some of your logo. They include your brand. So you understand, like, people can associate your brand to the ad and then ultimately to your business. So I don't know if you've ever done this when you're driving along and you're looking for somewhere to eat. I don't particularly like the typical fast food joints. So I always try to find something a little bit more personal or local. And the one thing that I always cry out for is, like, when I'm driving along, I can't find it because it's not got a big logo. It's not clear. I can't see it on my map as I can walking down the street.
Absolutely.
So if I can see your logo in the app and then see it on the street, I'll put two and two together. I'm going to come into it. So you
know, that's a great point for independent businesses.
Absolutely.
You know, coffee shops or the independent coffee sandwich shop or restaurant. No, because I'm very often similar and much prefer to go to try something local, especially if I'm traveling, than, you know, any of the national franchises. Yeah. Just for that point of, you know, let me try. You know, it's staying in a local economy. Yeah. It's gonna.
Let's go small. It's going to be, you know, you're going to hopefully get good service. The food's going to be good, or the drinks going to be good, whatever it is. And so you're probably more in, and again, I think we're hypersensitive to it, is we're more likely to go with that local company than we are one of the big fast food chains or big chain restaurants as a whole. So again, Waze is a good one. $2 a day is a really low entry point, and to be quite honest, you get a fair amount of audience reach with it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize that. I would almost put that for a lot of businesses. It almost should be ahead of Google, you know, or just alongside running any Google ads, especially if you're type of business that drives on impulse.
So we've got a couple of minutes here, and I just want to touch on this last little bit around a competitor for Google. And I've actually been working with them a little bit recently, just trying to set up our own ads, which is Yelp. I mean, one of the prerequisites of people setting up a business, I must get Yelp reviews, I must get Yelp.
Mm-hmm.
But Yelp is still used, and people still take account of it, and still helps your SEO, and it still helps grow your business. And so they actually offer you up to $300 in free ads.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a really nice way to get started.
It's a great way to get started. And I just want to give some people some pointers or some things straight from Yelp, basically, as to why you should use them. 82% of Yelp users visit intending to buy a product or service, and 89% of those who buy do so within a week.
Wow.
That's pretty impressive, and that's a lot of new customers potentially. The other thing that I like about it is they offer you so many different incentives. They offer you software to help your business as well. One of the other things they offer, which is they call them Yelp deals and gift certificates,
oh, really?
where they actually provide deals and certificates for your customers, and you can sell them, promote them for your
nice.
business to draw more people in. And lastly is you can direct message and respond to people who comment on your business right there and then in Yelp and become an engaged.
Can you do that via an app, or do you have to log into?
You have to log in to Yelp. I think you can also. They've got an app you can download and do it there. So again, they've made it
to make it easy on the business owner. Oh, that's great. I mean, I use Yelp all the time. I didn't even not that familiar with the advertising now.
Yeah, it's a great thing. So we are getting close to time, and I'm going to start wrapping up. I want to talk about next week's show a little bit. We're going to have some video content information for you. We're going to talk all about video and how to do it effectively. Everything from using your phone and how to use your phone effectively, all the way up to how to hire a professional videographer, some of the things to look out for, and try not to break your budget. And before we end, I think it's worth pointing out that you can catch us on all podcasts, wherever podcasts are found, as well as the www.am860.com website. You can also find it on smbAcceleration.com. If you'd like to find out more great tips for marketing your small business, or indeed hire 2 eligible consultants to help you out with some of your challenges, or just talk to us, feel free to visit our site, drop us a line, or jump into the show on either streamed or live. Call in, and we will be happy to talk to you. That's it from me for this week. How about you, Jeff?
No, I'm with you. I think that was it was a great show, and I would tell everyone, check out the $99 listener appreciation offer now through the end of November. And
I forgot about the offer. So yes, let's just reiterate, $99 from SMB Acceleration. Come and check us out. That went so quick.
It did.